everybody, you're watching The Better Half. I'm Amy Hatton, also known as the Cooking Mom, and we are cooking up some great apple recipes with Heaven. The chicken breast with the apple cider cream.
Yes.
I can hardly wait for the ladies.
I know, my stomach's grumbling. Can't wait to try it.
And it's so easy breezy. This is another fun one. It's really trendy right now, this whole salted caramel thing, you know. It's yummy. You know, it's like the salty and the sweet.
I was going to say, so if you have some people have a thing for that, a little bit of sweet, a little bit of salty, so this is going to be great.
I'm all over it. We're making salted caramel apple pie bars. Really easy breezy and a perfect fall dessert. So I'm going to put you to work and have you peel two big apples. Now if your apples are smaller, you're going to want to use 3 to 4 apples. So just peel them and chunk them up. And you were saying that your mom just used a knife.
Yeah.
So it's up to you how you want to use it, a vegetable peeler or a knife. I started the salted caramel sauce, and what I did is just started with 1 cup of sugar and put it into a dry, I like to use a non-stick pan. And it takes a little bit, you have to be patient, but magic happens. The sugar, it's kind of like a science experiment. And I do love having, it seriously is, because it turns into this like golden brown. And who knew sugar would do this? And homemade caramel sauce is so easy to do. If you are in the kitchen making this with the kids, the caramel sauce is something you kind of want them to back away from. It can get really hot. Exactly. So we are almost ready to start adding the rest of the ingredients for the caramel sauce. So I'm going to move on to the shortbread crust. And a lot of these ingredients, Heaven, what I like about this recipe is you have so many of them at home. And if you don't have them home, run to a quick trip, get some butter. So we've got some melted butter here, flour. This is the shortbread crust. Pinch of salt, sugar, and some vanilla. So it's a really easy.
It sounds easy. I mean, I do have all that right in my kitchen at home.
Absolutely. In fact, I would, this makes an 8x8 pan, but if you've got, more people coming, double the recipe and do it in a 9x13.
You're good to go. Can I just toss these in a bowl?
You are doing great. Okay, so here, you see how easy that crust comes together? You don't have to worry about rolling it or anything like that. One of my tips and tricks whenever I'm doing something like that you're going to cut, like brownies or some sort of a bars, line your pan with foil, spray it, and then have it overlapping the pan so that you'll see the bars will lift out, no problem.
Easy, clean.
Yep, absolutely. I love to cook. I'm all about easy recipes, but I am not
I always use foil.
Yeah,
too.
oh yeah. Not a big fan of doing the dishes at all, unless my husband's doing them. Okay. Which is
or
rare.
Your kids.
Yeah, the kids. I put my kids to work on them. So this is great if you can get this in the oven for about 15 minutes to pre-bake the crust. Time-wise here, we're just going to kind of be moving this recipe along. So we'll put it in for a few minutes.
My favorite part about this right now is the smell. I mean, all the cinnamon.
Oh, no kidding. They say, bake an apple pie and it'll get your house to smell good. Same thing. This recipe will make the house smell amazing. Okay, back to here's the magic with this sugar. So this is just straight up sugar, and it turns into this. See that?
Yeah. And how long do you have to let that sit on there for then?
Every stove is different, but it was there for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now I'm very slowly going to add and carefully some butter because this can bubble up. So I'm adding some butter to that caramel, and it's going to melt right away. Smells amazing. And then gradually adding some heavy cream. And this is our caramel sauce. You could certainly skip this step and the bars don't even need caramel sauce, or you could just pick up some store-bought caramel sauce. But I was
going to say, what's a bar, though, without a good drizzle topping?
I'm with you on that one.
Chocolate, too. I'd probably try chocolate.
I'm totally
a chocolate
with you
girl
on that one. Oh, my gosh, it smells amazing. So we're just going to let this hang out and just keep it nice and warm. How are you doing on those apples? You are doing fantastic. So we're going to toss the apples with a little bit of flour, just like you would with apple pie.
Perfect.
This is going to kind of, form a little bit of a gravy together.
Okay, gravy. Here we go.
You know what I mean? Thicken the apples a little bit like you would apple pie filling. A little bit of sugar, cinnamon, and just a pinch of nutmeg, just a little bit. All right, perfect. This is the apple filling. And we have one more step, a streusel topping. So, this recipe just keeps on going. So I love any kind of a pie with a streusel topping. We'll add the last of the apples in there. And you know what? Your apples look great. They don't have to be, this is like kind of rustic dessert. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, rustic is in. So that means it doesn't have to look like some fancy pastry chef did it.
Mine would never look
now you know it's homemade. So the streusel topping is just some oats. Just dump some oats in there, some brown sugar, flour, cinnamon, and you see that butter
Yes, ma'am.
This is a pastry blender. You could just use 2 forks. You were saying that you didn't have a lot of fancy gadgets growing up. Me either. But this just makes it a little easier, and you're going to get a nice crumbly topping. So just kind of do like that.
Mash it down.
And I'm tossing my apples with the cinnamon. Now at home, you're going to let this crust bake a little bit longer, about 15 minutes.
I got to invest in one of these little gadgets.
Yeah, they do work really nicely. So our apple mixture goes on top of the crust that's been baked, and then the streusel goes on top of that. And if it's not all perfect, don't worry about it. All right, and that just gets dumped right over the top. Perfect. Nice crumbly. No skimping on that streusel. This goes back into the oven. Continues to bake until the streusel is all golden and yummy. Now look at these. Here they are. They've cooled nicely. Our caramel sauce is done.
3 easy steps.
Yep, and look at this. They just comes out just like that. Really easy to cut.
Voila.
So you can just take a knife. Oh, look who shows up.
We smelled something good.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I've got a big knife here. We'll cut those into whatever size you want. How good does that caramel sauce smell? Oh my gosh, homemade caramel sauce. Really, really hot right now. We're gonna let it cool, and then we're gonna add our salt right at the end. We'll drizzle that. So are you ready to try these?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. We're going to put the recipe, a link to the recipe on the Better Half Facebook page. So stick around.
So there's more to go.
Oh, we're going to drizzle the caramel over the top. Rachel, the best part.
Well, then I won't grab one yet.
No, don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap things up and wrap up the Better Half. So stay with us. We'll be back.